Hello, welcome everybody. My name is Alex. I'm co-founder and chairman of the steering committee of Talent Kick. Very excited today to celebrate the launch of the Talent Kick program. Let me start a little bit on how we prepared everything to get where we are today. When I was an entrepreneur, I already learned a lot of new things, and I also discovered things that we can do better. And I think it's very important that one thing that we should push further, and that every investor will tell you, what is the most important thing to succeed? It is the team. And this is something where we want to work on, and to enable you that already during your studies, you find your co-founder and that you get the support all the way to the end of your studies, that you can comfortably jump into the entrepreneurship journey and make it as easy as taking a regular job in the industry, but with a lot more rewarding outcome of creating new jobs, helping the economy, and driving growth also on your personal level. So I'm very excited that today this program is happening, and I was involved already early on with the AI Center, because this was one of the programs that also we need in the AI area, where we need to bring together the best talents across universities, not just ETH, but every university in Switzerland. And so I'm very excited that we could test parts of this program already together with the University of St. Gallen, who helped us building a program and validating it until we get it ready to the point that we have today. The program, of course, would only work if you have someone who's embodying that vision and that ambition to drive it forward. And so it's a very good moment for us that we found someone who combines entrepreneurship, the investor perspective, and also sustainable development, because this is exactly what we need to push it forward. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you the CEO of Talent Kick, Viviana.
Hi everyone, and a very, very warm welcome also from my side to you guys. Thank you for being here. A very warm welcome from the startup space where we're at the moment and where we're celebrating our launch. So I will jump directly into what Talent Kick is all about. And I want to tell you a little bit more what is behind the vision and how everything came together into one program, all the hard work that the AI Center and the Hochschule St. Gallen put into this, and how it helped us to confirm the hypothesis that we had. So let's jump into Talent Kick. Our mission is to bring the most outstanding talents of the different Swiss universities together into interdisciplinary diverse teams and really help them to gain hands-on experience while they're still studying. The general vision is that in the end, with that, they can really create their own vision, they can make an impact in the world, and that they get the tools and the entrepreneurial mindset to make sure that they get supporters and they find the right people to help them on their journey. So there's a lot of great programs out there. Switzerland's an amazing ecosystem, so there is many programs that people could go into. Why does it need another program? We believe that we are kind of in the middle of the programs that help you inspire you, that help you kind of get like the first knowledge about what entrepreneurship is all about, that help you get catch that fire, and the programs that really accelerate your journey as soon as you have a team and an idea and you're ready to grow. We are here in between in a 1 to 2 year program, incorporating also other programs into our program to help you grow your network, grow your team and project, and also grow yourself. And we do this in a very structured first semester and in a more unstructured second to fourth semester. So in the first semester, you start really with a personality test. Then you go into your personal coaching journey. So you have a personal leadership coach that has a psychological background that helps you overcome your fears, overcome your boundaries, and really grow as a person. You also get boot camps where you can start working hands-on on achieving 2 most important milestones. The first milestone is finding that interdisciplinary team. And the second milestone is finding people that support you, an entrepreneurial mentor out in the ecosystem, a successful entrepreneur that is willing to say, yes, I will help you on your journey in the next coming years. After you go through that very structured first semester, you get a second to fourth semester. Why do we say second to fourth? Second to fourth is because we stick with you until you graduate. So it's important for us that we're not a program that will once help you understand entrepreneurship and deep dive into it, and then you continue with your studies, and at the time you graduate, Google will be there with a great offer, and we lose you as the potential next big entrepreneur, but that we really help you to stick with the entrepreneurial journey, overcome your fears, overcome your hurdles, overcome your challenges, and lay a very stable foundation for yourself to be able to confidently decide for the entrepreneurial career path when you graduate. So in the second to fourth semester, it is a bit more unstructured, it's a bit more individual, so it's really about you and your goals. We're here to always come back to you, reflect with you, what do you need for yourself to be confidently able to decide for the entrepreneurial career path when you graduate. And we also help you to really get synergies with your studies, to really combine that with your degree and make sure that you get the best out of the best from the ecosystem that is there at your university, but also across Switzerland. So we help you with a personalized curriculum, making sure that you have the best programs available to you to help you on that journey. Why is this something that we can do? First and foremost, of course, because we have amazing people in our backs that help us and support us to really make this a success. We have an amazing steering committee that really puts their personal time into making this a success. In the steering committee, we have Michael Hengartner, who is the president of the ETH board. We have Pascal Vaumont, who is the director and CEO of the Gebert Rüff Foundation. We have Stefan Germann, who is the CEO of the Fondation Bodnar. We have Ursula Oesterle, who is the VP of Innovation from the EPFL. We have Elga Fleisch, who is a professor from HSG and ETH. We have Professor Roland Siegwart, who is a professor from the ETH and also the co-founding director of the WIS Zurich. We have Alexander Illich, who we already heard from, who is the chairman of the steering committee, but also the director of the ETH AI Center. And we have Dietmar Grichnik, who is the director of the management and entrepreneurship at the Hochschule St. Gallen. On the entrepreneur side, we also have a lot of help from successful entrepreneurs who help us really understand the journey even more in depth in different areas, in different fields. And for our advisory board, we have Christoph Roduna, who is the co-founder of Scandid. We have Alexandra Laska, who is a business angel and also a partner at Red Alpine. We have Melanie Gabriel, who is the co-founder of Yokoi, and we have Selim Benayat, who is the co-founder of Rosy Realities, but also the managing director of the newly formed Kick Fund. And furthermore, of course, we have a great team. I have Nadia Gazabi, who is on my side for the Swiss Romand part, and I'm responsible for the Western, the East and Central and East part of Switzerland. And there's also an amazing support from the universities, where I really want to say a big thank you to all the universities out there that help us implement and really promote this and make it easier to access for students across Switzerland to come into the Talent Kick program and form their own entrepreneurial journey. But let's stop here from my side, from the theoretical side, and really hear why these people, especially the steering committee and the universities, are involved in this program and why they think it is so important to put their personal time into this to make this a success.
I think Switzerland has really a good advantage in terms of attracting top talent.
Switzerland has developed over the last, I would say 10, 20 years, a vibrant startup ecosystem. We can really be proud of it.
But complacency is the beginning of the slippery road down.
I don't think we should sit on our laurels. There's still some improvement that can be made.
We learned over the years that we need to support the early end, where the teams are formed, and also the other end, where we need investments to grow.
At the very beginning, we need to have more people interested.
To make it really easy for a young talent to see, is this a career path that you can go? Because I truly believe entrepreneurship is one of the key ways of shaping our economy.
For building up a team that can be successful on an international level, you need this interdisciplinary team.
Students learn to form a complementary team for their project idea based on their personal strengths.
Talent Kick really brings this together in terms of a meta-orchestration to create a great enabling environment.
From a perspective of University of St. Gallen, it's important to know that we strongly support this program. To promote entrepreneurship has been always part of our vision. What we're facing at the moment is that we have certain verticals, whether it's in ICT, whether it's in fintech. So one of the challenges is that we are too homogeneous actually. Therefore, to open the doors and to say, let's go out of the building, let's meet these other great guys from the technology. From research, we know that this is a breeding ground for success.
The University of Basel profits a lot from society. The university therefore also has a very huge interest to giving back to society. And I think with Talent Kick, I see a huge potential doing that. From the top students, top excellences, we can bring them together and create solutions for tomorrow.
The UZ-H Innovation Hub, that's our innovation ecosystem, the platform for innovation and entrepreneurship at the University of Zurich, acts as a catalyst to accelerate the development of innovative ideas and also to transfer research into practice. Being part of the Talent Kick program, we foster even more the interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary co-creation approach we envision at the University of Zurich.
I mean, the IE Lab is still relatively new. It's been around for 10 years. And I think when I co-founded my first startup, 2004, also an ETH spin-off, there was absolutely nothing. And what happened over the last 10 years is really amazing. And I think what the IE Lab offers today for the Pioneer Fellows who go through the Pioneer Fellowship program is manifold. I think the role of Talent Kick in this sense is very, very crucial. I think it's very important to bring on board, actually very early on, different skill sets.
With Talent Kick, we enable students to explore entrepreneurship and gain hands-on entrepreneurial experience during their studies.
Talent Kick will allow universities to be more successful with their startups coming out of research ideas.
I believe each university has their different strength and different culture.
We don't want to have monocultures. I'm a biologist, I know diverse ecosystems are much more productive.
So it's important that all the universities work together into generating these world-class teams which generate workplaces of tomorrow.
So again, I really want to say a big thank you to all our partners out there, to everyone who really invests time and energy into making this program a success, for the young talents out there. And I want to say also a very warm welcome to a special guest that we have dialing in from San Francisco, our global program partner, Swissnex, that we want to really welcome on board. And I want to say hi to Joya, hi to Franziska. Thanks for dialing in from across the world to give us a short personal message today.
Hello everyone, good evening Switzerland, and a warm welcome from California, where we're actually just starting the day. As Viviana said, I'm Joya, I'm the CEO.
And I'm Franziska, I'm head of entrepreneurship here in San Francisco, and a warm welcome straight from Pier 17 on the waterfront on this like super foggy morning we hardly see outside.
We're actually really excited to be a partner of this very important program that is also very close to our mission. Swissnex has been connecting the Swiss innovation ecosystem with the world's most important innovation hotspots for over 20 years. And our mission is to empower next generation innovators to have a positive impact on our planet and on our society through innovation. We are based around the world. We have offices in the US, in San Francisco, Boston, New York. We're also in Japan since recently. We're in China, we're in India, we're in Brazil. So you see, we have global coverage. And about 11 years ago, the Swissnex network started really supporting very actively Swiss startups in their internationalization efforts. Because Swiss startups, as you know, need to be born global from the get-go. We simply have too small a market. And together with InnoSwiss, we launched this flagship program and had the pleasure through that to work with some of Switzerland's most successful startups, from Dakuda to MindMaze, FaceShift, Ava, you name it. And so focusing on next generation entrepreneurs, or futurepreneurs, as we like to call them, stands for a logical continuation of those efforts. And we're very excited to be the global program partner for Talent Kick.
Yeah, and so as Joya said, like we're based around the world in different innovation ecosystems, and something that startups here, especially in Silicon Valley here, often is that ideas are cheap, and investors and also big companies invest rather in teams rather than products. That's definitely something that a lot of the startups that I usually work with have to learn first when they come here, because they think their product is so special and you shouldn't talk about it because it's so like secretive, and the technology is amazing, which is true, but this is not the most important thing. But rather, I think also when I look at the most successful startups that we had in the past, it was for sure, the product was amazing, but they were not successful just because of the product. But they also had an amazing team, they had the right mindset, and they had a great skill set. So that's why we also invest in our programs, really in building that network. Obviously, that's important for the startup success, but also really invest in focusing on building up that skill set and mindset as well. And most importantly, especially, build the right team, a cross-disciplinary team.
This is really so very true. And an additional thing that we see emerging more and more importantly, which is really, really dear to our hearts, is that innovation cannot happen without thinking about the impact it is creating on our planet and on our societies. So it's very important that entrepreneurs from the get-go have a global perspective and an understanding of the interdependencies between their actions and the impact it creates outside anywhere else in the world. And that needs to be core to any entrepreneurial journey. And this is a crucial principle, not only for successful entrepreneurs, but also really for any future leader. And that's why we're adding this global dimension of immersive and hands-on learning from our key locations around the world, very disparate locations, very complementary locations that will really expand the perspective and understanding of the participants in the Talent Kick program.
Yeah, and so without giving you the details about what we're going to do together with Talent Kick, I can promise you we will connect you to interesting entrepreneurs around the world, like launch you into different mindsets that are relevant for innovation, and also connect you to the local students and academia ecosystems as well. So and some of you might even be able to come to our locations, a few selected ones. So stay tuned for the details of the program.
Yes, and with that, enjoy the rest of this launch event. Congratulations to the team, Alex, Viviana, all of you. It's really amazing to see this come to life. We're very proud to be part of the initiative, and we hope to see all of you soon, wherever it may be in the world. Bye-bye.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. We're so excited to have you on board, and that was actually an amazing cliffhanger, so stay tuned. And now what we want to do is we want to dive a little deeper into what the different ideas of entrepreneurship at the studies will help you to do. So we have 4 amazing people in our panel. We will dive a little bit deeper into the journey of what it means to be an entrepreneur while you're still studying, understand their experiences. And we have Nadia here today that will help us to really understand their story, understand their learnings, see what they have gone through. And I'm extremely excited to see what students from EPFL, UNIL, HSG and ETH have to tell us, or ex-students and now entrepreneurs. Giving over to Nadia, please can you introduce us to the panel?
Thank you. So welcome everyone. And we're very glad to have today with us Paulina Grnarova, who co-founded DeepJudge during her studies at the ETH. We also have Andri Studer, who co-founded Collabo during his master at HSG, and Quentin Cani, who co-founded WePot during the end of his bachelor and now his master at UNIL. And finally, we also have David Bohr, who co-founded ELR during his master at DPFL. So we're very glad to have this panel here. Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Very happy to have you here. And so, yeah, let's deep dive directly in the subject, entrepreneurship during the studies. While I have you here, David, on the big screen, let me directly ask you some questions. So can you describe a bit for us your journey as an entrepreneur during your studies?
Yes, with the greatest pleasure. So the thing that's been really interesting here is that I started by the end of my master, in fact, starting co-founding my company. And I used the end of my master thesis at EPFL to literally do the first feasibility study of what we are developing. Just for you to know, we are doing a next generation of intermodal containers. You know, those big boxes that are going on ship, boats, and train. And we really make use of every tool that we could have found at EPFL to validate the product. So the part of the product is made out of composite. And I went to the labo that did Alinghi for me to do the first feasibility study of Euler. So it has been quite an intense and interesting way of balance my work, because I was working for the course, but at the same time working on the thesis for the feasibility study and interacting with the market and some customers at the same time. And this type of interaction has been quite valuable and is still interesting for us. For example, it's been now 5 years and I'm still in interaction with most of the professors that I did my thesis with. So it has always positive feedback to keep a network growing from there.
Advice, grow your network. And so now if I jump to Paulina, why did you actually decide to become an entrepreneur?
So first, let me tell you, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. So for me, becoming an entrepreneur happened kind of organically and almost unplanned. So I did my PhD at TTH, specifically focusing on semantic understanding of text and deep learning models. And during my PhD, I really experienced the revolution of deep learning and what it means in terms of how AI can understand unstructured text. And then during the final third of my PhD, one of my colleagues and friend, and now also a co-founder, suggested that we take a course together from the Department of Law and Economics. And that course was called Robot Judge, and it dealt with how natural language processing can be used to enhance the legal systems, or maybe how it can replace different judges to make certain legal decisions. And during that course, we were all 4 co-founders that took the course, and we started diving deeper in how lawyers work and what kind of tools are available for the legal profession. And we realized that there are a lot of things that are still done very manually and repetitively and that are very error prone, but at the same time, our knowledge for deep learning and semantic understanding for text was really relevant in this particular domain. So we started working on a project together, and at the same time, the professor connected us with several law firms who were very interested in what we were doing, and they told us that if we build solutions for their problems, they would be more than happy to pay for them. So we established that there is an actual problem and there is a market, so people are willing to pay for it, and we are a good team that have the skill set. So that's kind of how Deep Judge was born. It happened very, very naturally during our studies.
Very interesting. Very interesting to see also how the class and the course integrated with your journey. And so if I jump now, I will get back again to all of you, but if I jump now to Quentin, also could you experience this ecosystem at your university and this encouragement to go into the entrepreneurial path?
Hi, thank you, Nadia. Hello, everyone. Just sorry because I'm the car, so I hope you hear me good. So yes, the ecosystem at UNIL is very good to start entrepreneurial project. So I start during my last years of bachelor in HEC Lausanne with my friends and now partner Clément Pérez. And we start with startup student competition, the START competition. So it's one of the best way to start for me, because you can just have an idea and we develop your idea during a lot of steps until the final that we have the chance to do. And we had the skill with Clément of development and commercialization, but we could find a lot of different skills from university, but also with EPFL and ECAL. So the ecosystem of not only UNIL, but all the Lausanne and around Lausanne is very important to launch your project. Maybe one more thing is that people have time during study, not maybe when they work. So people are very happy to help us. We were a lot of challenges by friends, by professors to develop our projects. So it was during our studies, and one of the most difficult things was to finish the study and to continue the project. But it's also very good because you have some project and you know that you need to finish both of them. So for me, I think it's one of the best way to start the entrepreneurial project when you are student, because you have time. It's less risk when you are young that you have maybe more older, and you have dynamic and young. So that's for me one of the biggest challenge and opportunity from the ecosystem of university.
Questions I had to ask, but great. And but thanks a lot. And now if I jump to our last panelist, André, for you, how do you think that the collaboration between the university is important as an entrepreneur and to build an actual startup?
Hi there, my name is Andre. Just quickly, we founded Collabo in 2018 at the University of St. Gallen. And for me, the exchange within the university was really important. So there we had the Startup at Hardscape program that connected us to VCs and like-minded people and nurtured collaboration. That was really important within the university, but I think it's highly important, especially from business students from St. Gallen, that they get in touch with the rather techies from the ETH, for example, and bounce off ideas with them and also build a network there. I think a lot of students that go to business school might have most of their inner circle also from the business school. So it's important to get in touch with programmers, developers, engineers, whatever, and build a network there, not only because you need a co-founder or co-founders, but also later on in hiring, or if you face a technical challenge in your startup, it's always helpful if you can just call someone and ask him that. And during the last few years, I realized that people are extremely helpful when it comes to founders. They always like to share their experience and their know-how. Be careful what kind of tips and tricks you take on or you follow, because people always want to give you feedback and their ideas, which might not be the best for your specific case. But in general speaking, if you're a bit cautious, I think it's always helpful to just ask people and get to know them. Also, I realized a lot of companies and people, they're really helpful if they realize you're still at uni. You can kind of get the junior bonus that you're still in your studies, and people are especially helpful there to support you.
So go out there and ask. And for you, if I get back to David, what would you advise to a current student who wants to become an entrepreneur to do and to actually take out during their uni time? Like how can they make the most of their university time?
Yeah, so the first thing, and it goes back to what Andre said too, and it's very true. During this little time, you have the possibility to make mistakes. You are still regarded as a junior, so go, be fearless and try things as much as you can and fail as fast as you can, because you will fail a lot. So the more you learn during this process beforehand, the better it is, because when you have this type of safety net of being still at university, it's not the same way that going out and then having some other criticalities that are more connected to the professional world. At the same time, find people that do not think as you do. go, if you're an engineer, go see the people from HSC, because you're like, oh, those are weird people. And if you try to put yourself in the worst situation out of your comfort zone, because university is a very permissive place where you can have those type of interaction, that you can make mistakes, that you can interact with each other without taking too many risks. And once you will be pitching in front of big corporates or in front of important investors meeting, here failing will be way more critical. So as much as you can, do things faster and fail as well as you can. That would be my 2 cents on this.
Nice advice. And now if I go back to Quentin, how do you think for yourself that interdisciplinarity helped you in growing your company? What other skills did you need and how did this help you actually build WePod?
Okay, so the first idea of Clément and me was to rebrand an irrigation system, but in clay. So the first time it was to have some knowledge of ceramists. So we go to the School of Ceramists in Vevey, the CEPV, so to understand how it's produced this kind of product. And after understand the technology, we go to see a designer. So we go to ECAL. It's a design school in Lausanne, in Renan. So we work with a student from ECAL who finished the study of ECAL, and he designed our first product. And already we work together with him. And we also work with a lot of with EPFL. We work with different associations. We work with the GE Junior Entrepreneurial Association, and also with different engineers from agronomists. So it was very important to have some scientific test of our product. So that was very easy to find these people and this school, because we are friends or friends of friends, have contact to get in touch with people who can help us. So that's one advantage from a student to develop a project. We also work with different professors who help us to orient us in different way of knowledge.
Okay, thanks. So you were a lucky one to have multiple friends who did multiple things. I want to also ask the same question maybe to Paulina, for you, having been confronted to interdisciplinary people via your professor who introduced them to you, how this contributed to the success of Deep Judge?
Well, Deep Judge definitely combines 2 different domains, legal and tech. So for us, we really benefited from having connections both with the technology department, so informatics department, and the law and economics. And I think a lot of interesting ideas, specifically for startups, can be developed when 2 or more disciplines come together. So in that regard, I find Talent Kick to be quite interesting, that it brings different people together from different fields with different knowledge and diverse backgrounds. I think that's very powerful.
Thank you. And now, Andri, maybe a bit on what do you think, I don't know, maybe you have a word first on the interdisciplinary you as well. And I want to ask you also a more precise question, maybe like, why do you think someone should start during their studies?
Sure, I think the first question has been answered quite well by the first 2 participants, so I'll answer the second one. For me, starting the business during my study was really a good decision, because I had some spare time and could start iterating or just test my idea in the market. I didn't needed to work full-time at first. And what I realized now, talking with a lot of friends that went into consulting, banking, and so on, the problem is if you go first to the industry, you get used to a certain lifestyle or a certain salary and the expenses and everything. And then going back to to the startup life and bootstrap your startup for the first year, like we did it, that I think is a really hard path to go if you first get used to the salaries and all the people around you, and then you go back to a startup and have to do everything on your own, might not have the money to pay for salary and expenses and so on. So for me, it was good that I founded it right during my studies and never got used to the perks of a corporate life or so. Eventually, of course, you need to get some salary, which we got once we were funded, but in the beginning, it's definitely helpful to do it right during the studies, part-time, and not being used to all the perks you have in other companies.
And maybe David, do you have an opinion on that same question?
I'm sorry, on which question? I really was captivated by Andre's answer, so forget the question.
The question was, why should you start during your studies?
Oh, yeah. So this was already a good answer in terms of the mindset. The second thing is that there are a lot of support that we can find around the university. Be it some courses that are interesting. There are a lot of keynotes and meetings that you can see. Myself, I had the opportunity to go in a lot of Swiss tech presentations that were extremely instrumental for us on how to grow a company. And you can do all this during your spare time. So you are a bit prepared on what will come next. So it's a nice trade-off for you to get your hands dirty while still having a bit of safety here.
And how do you think that you could build an environment, for example, for ELR, to actually really try it out? I mean, those are containers. So how do you think that during your studies it was like the right moment or the right place to do it?
So literally, so I already a bit spoke about the fact that one of the labs I worked in was the lab that created the Alingi, so composite container were quite connected to composite boats. Another lab is the lab that did very powerful embedded system. We are creating a smart container, so we need composite and intelligent system. We have a lot of network about the Innovo and FIT and all those different associations that are supporting you during your endeavor while you haven't created the company yet. So all those things are really literally tools that you can use to go to grow your project. So sadly, I haven't had the resources from my lab to build a full-size prototype, but I had the opportunity to do a lot of tests, a lot of design, a lot of things in a way that when we went out of the EPFL, we already had contact. So we already had a pre-design that was validated, and we already had contact at Nestle, at the big other corporate, even Kühnenagel. And we were literally ready to roll. So we already had a lot of work that was done beforehand. So it's more using really all the different tools that you can find there in the Vaud County in order to make things efficiently.
Thank you. And if I jump back to Quentin, what would be your advice to an even younger self?
It's a good question. Yeah, I think maybe start before. I think it's because, as say the other entrepreneur, if you fail, it's a good time to fail now. You have a lot of time after, and you could fail is less important than maybe when you are older. So I think, yeah, I could start maybe in the first years of my bachelor or my second, but it's one of my advice. Yeah, start before.
Thank you. And now we're approaching the end of this panel discussion, and I will just want to ask you all a last question. So you all are entrepreneurs. You all started during your studies, and you all still are entrepreneurs. Why is it worth it to be an entrepreneur? So maybe we start with Paulina.
I think for me, having the possibility to have impact on with every aspect that I do is very important. I was actually previously at a big corporation, and while it has a lot of perks, I think sometimes you can feel like you're one of many. And in this way, you're really working on your idea and trying to make a change. And I also find that whenever there's a team, even a small team of like-minded people that have the same vision, they can really make a change. And I think that's very interesting, and it creates a very dynamic atmosphere in which everything that you do really counts, and you can definitely experience what you're doing materialize.
Thank you. And maybe Andre now, do you have an opinion also?
Definitely, I would agree with Paulina. It's a great way to have an impact. For me, it's really nice or inspiring to see candidates that give us positive feedbacks on Google. You start to realize you actually do something good for them and help them to find a job in our case. And for me, it's also just a really good opportunity to make a lot of mistakes, try out different solution processes, way of working. And I mean, yeah, once you get funding, you are able to have a budget and deploy that budget on your own, together with your co-founders and investors, of course. But just a possibility for me right during uni to do those mistakes and get the chance to actually decide on a lot of important questions was something I could have never done in a bigger corporation or so. It would take years to climb up the ladder and eventually have that opportunity to hire people and to fire them as well if needed. That's all the experience that is really valuable if you make it early on, because you can learn from it and you probably do it better the next time.
Very nice. And maybe David now on
Yes.
this one.
So the thing which is for me the most interesting one is definitely everything related to the impact and the thing that you can make on the society is definitely captivating and a main driver. But the second one is the personal development that you need to go through in order to make things work. And I always say one thing is that Ailer will grow only if the people within Ailer are growing. And this is something which is quite interesting because every day you need to get out of your comfort zone. Every day you need to find new solution of problem that seems impossible. And in fact, they are, because you are bringing something new. So you're disrupting something very important. And you have this, schizophrenic type of behavior where like, I don't know how it's gonna work, but I'm pretty sure it will work. And you just give this to your future self sometimes because yourself, you have too many emails to answer at. And I see you guys smiling, so I'm pretty sure it's been the same for everyone here. And this feeling here of, being each time feeling this fact that you learn something very deep about yourself, about the thing that you could put into, and this feeling of, okay, in fact, I am an adventurous. I am living a life which is with the highest high and the lowest down I could imagine. And this is thrilling. I mean, from a personal point of view, it's an incredible adventure. A bit tiring though.
Yeah, you don't get to rest much, but you get energy.
Yeah, exactly.
from the
and
achievements. And for you, Quentin, what's your opinion?
Yeah, it's better with Miko. Yeah, I'm agree with all the answer, but I think maybe that because we are in the action, we start with the action, we can do as we want. And as said David, we have a lot of problems, but we need to have a resolution. So we need to brainstorm, we need to learn by ourselves. And that's why it's very, very important for, I think, entrepreneurial, because we are also challenged. And we also need to find solution of problem, because for me, entrepreneurial is that we have just a lot of problem and we need to resolve as you can with your budget, with your idea, with your team. So it's already a big spirit that we need to have, and it's very, very attractive.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being part of our panel discussion. Some of you had conferences, work, meetings. Thanks for taking the time to be tonight here with us. We're very glad to have you. And yeah, let's hear each other. And we're very looking forward to see what's next for all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much, Nadia, for guiding us through that panel discussion. Thank you again to all our great panelists that were here today, so that we could really get a feeling for their journey at the different universities, and also what really helped them and what were challenges at the time, but really why is it worth it and why should you also try this. And with this, I would love to go into maybe the most important part. I want to tell you a little bit about how you can be part of the program, why you should be part of the program, and what we're looking for. So you've kind of heard a little bit already that we're looking for master and PhD students at the end of their studies or at the last 1 to 2 years of their studies, so that we can really help you build that stable foundation while you're still at universities. And what we really want to look for is entrepreneurial talents, outstanding talents, people that have some ideas, some vision, that really want to make an impact in the world, that want to change the world in a positive sense, and really make sure that they get the support they need to be able to implement their vision. So we're looking for entrepreneurial talents, but what does that really mean? So what we are kind of trying to see is there something that you maybe started already, where you had that idea and you just went out there and you made it happen. If you're that kind of person, then you're right for us, and we would love to see you apply. Also people that, when sometimes things don't go the way they plan, they keep getting up, they keep continuing with a positive attitude, team players with a drive, with leadership skills. These are the kind of people that we really, really want to invite to apply. And why would these outstanding, super cool talents come to us? Why are we a good address? Just as a quick reminder, we have personal leadership coaching for you throughout 1 to 2 years until the end of your studies. You get mentoring with successful entrepreneurs and professionals. You have the ability to really find synergies with your studies while you're still at university with your degree program. You also get a little bit of funding. And last but not least, we really try to help you form cross-university teams, find other people that work with you and that make your complementary skill set complete into a team that can really execute an idea that you have and your vision for the future. So don't take this from me. We have a little something prepared. We had amazing people already that helped us kind of test the first program components in the last 6 months. So instead of hearing from me why you should apply and what it brings for a student at a university, let's hear from them. So thanks again also to the great young talents who went through parts of the program with us and really gave us good feedback also on how to implement it. And let's hear from them what kind of experiences they've made. Do you want to start your own company? You might think it's all about that one brilliant idea. But is it? At TalentKick, we look for the best outstanding talents of the Swiss universities who want to be an entrepreneur, but they don't have a team or they don't have an idea yet. We're here to support you in forming interdisciplinary teams across the different universities, in finding a mentor, creating synergies with your studies, securing first funding, and also really getting immersed into the Swiss startup ecosystem.
TalentKick mainly helped me in meeting people that want to achieve the same thing that I do.
When we first started at TalentKick, we didn't even have a prototype.
We actually didn't even know anything about entrepreneurship, so TalentKick then showed us how to properly form a team.
Now we have an actual product and 750 paying customers.
I like the idea of entrepreneurship, but I never really dared doing it myself.
The Talent Kick program helped us to take this fear away.
Some people don't even have an idea, but first form their team and then sit together and think about what's needed on this earth.
I joined the program without a preformed team and without basically much of an idea.
There's so much support out there. There's so many other startup entrepreneurs. They are usually incredibly helpful to you and willing to help.
It was really an amazing cohort of really inspirational people and projects. I also found it super fascinating that people were coming together without an idea and really forming an idea and getting out of this program as a startup, basically.
I was thinking about being a founder, now I am. I was a dreamer, now I still am, but one with a team.
I thought that I knew where my life was going, but now I found a whole new path to explore.
We were doing theoretical research and now we're making an impact.
So also here a huge thank you to our great talents who have achieved incredibly much in the last six months and who have also helped us so much in testing what we've been trying to do and giving us so valuable feedback. So a huge thank you to our talents and to our future entrepreneurs, our actual entrepreneurs already. So, one more thing that I would really like to emphasize here is that this kind of program is always an intergenerational effort. It always needs people that have gone through the journey, that know what it's like to pause and give back to the next generation. And I want to here say a huge thank you to all the amazing, successful entrepreneurs who take time out of their busy schedules to help make this program a success and really help the next generation of entrepreneurs. And we also ask them, why would you do that? Why is it worth to support the program, but more importantly, to support the next generation of entrepreneurs? We also ask them, how do you actually get a mentor? How do you get someone to support you? Also for the people who are not in the Talent Kick program. And then last but not least, we asked them to give one big advice for the next generation. So also let's hear from them. I'm excited to hear their voices as well.
I'm supporting startups because one, it's super fun to me. I like working with very ambitious people and see where they go.
It's not only fun to be a mentor, but it's our duty to be a mentor.
It's sort of a bit of an obligation to pass on the knowledge and the experience that we've made ourselves.
And if I can help others, the reason is clear. I just want to give back because I know how important it was and still is for myself.
It's also about reciprocity, like giving back.
You give knowledge out into society to the next generation.
And making sure that they're not making the mistakes I did, because why do them twice, right? So I think everyone will benefit if we give back smartly. Yeah.
So how do you convince someone to become your mentor? I think the first thing that a mentor needs to feel is really your passion.
The way I did it is sort of, I just taught the mentor something at first, and then the mentor had sort of this spark of sort of, I don't know, fun or passion, and then started teaching me. So I think it's sort of a give and take.
What you should know, I think, as a young aspiring entrepreneur is just that you need to get comfortable with the unknown. Be comfortable with the fact that you need to tackle stuff where you don't have full knowledge.
The most important thing is very easy. Do what you enjoy. Get inspired, use the resources that you have, and just try.
Never compromise on the team. One engineer counts for 10 engineers of the competition, basically. So you better choose them wisely So that's really crucial, really crucial.
My advice would be to try it right now. You're like at an amazing university where there are a lot of people that can help and support you.
You will find out throughout the journey whether this path is for you, and you have nothing to lose but just to win experience.
I think just start. Don't be afraid.
It's just all learning by doing.
Find the people who are here to support you and just do it step by step.
Don't ask for permission and just start running and go solve those problems.
You can shape your own thing. You can take an idea and make it into reality.
So, let us not delay that spirit. We are ready. I hope you are ready. We are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live! Thank you for joining us with this ceremony. We were so excited that all of this came together now. Check out our website. The application portal is open right now, so you can start applying. Also, you can go grab a drink and join us at the networking. So the networking link is in the YouTube description, and we are so excited to meet you all in person. Thank you for your time tonight. See you soon.
you.